one step beyond.
I have a question for you. Who of you flipped on a light switch today? Raise your hands, please. And keep your hands up if you thought, wow, what a great gift nature is giving me. I was afraid of that. We flip switches all day without giving it a second thought. We are taking energy for granted. And by doing that, we are taking nature for granted. I am here to talk to you about a product that will change the way you think about both energy and nature. Since I was a little girl, I have been fascinated by nature. We had a large back garden with a huge cherry tree and a treehouse that my dad had built. And from the moment I could climb, that treehouse was my favorite place in the world. I could play in there for hours. I'd enjoy the beautiful view, dream about the future, and study the leaves, and watch them turn from green to yellow, and eventually fall to the ground. I felt safe in that treehouse, protected, above all, from the goats that were walking freely in our garden. To me, they were pretty scary, with their big, sharp horns. And now, years have passed. My fear of goats is gone, but my fascination for the natural world has remained. As a product designer, I'm intrigued by natural energy. I found out that energy is hidden in unexpected places. Nature is full of energy we are not even aware of. The heat from your body is energy. The fungi on the apple you forgot to eat yesterday, energy. And the urine you flushed down the drain before this TEDxAmsterdam event started, a huge source of energy. Nature provided us with infinite sources. Perfect, circular ecosystems. In nature, the waste of the one process is always a nutrition for the other. And it keeps on going and going. And out of 8.7 million species on this planet, human beings are actually the only creatures who use linear systems. When I studied at the Willem de Kooning Academy in Rotterdam, I came across a technology that changed my entire perspective about energy. Microbial fuel cell technology. Simply put, it's energy harvested by microbes. Microbes break down organic compounds, and whilst this process, they release electrons. And they are everywhere. In labs all over the world, scientists are researching interesting things about microbial fuel cell technology. But as a product designer, I could not find a product that is accessible to the general public. And I think it's very important to make something functional that can be part of everyday life, to push the development of this technology further. So, I started to work with the technology myself. I stepped in the shoes of a scientist. With a fellow student, I designed a floating lamp, which can harvest its energy from microbes in the dirty water in the Port of Rotterdam. After months of hard work, there were great results. But the most inspiring thing to find out in this process was that a fusion between nature, science, and design can lead to promising new concepts. This little floating lamp is a realization of a bigger message. Imagine that this floating lamp becomes a floating house, one which can harvest its energy from the port water while cleaning it at the same time. That got me thinking, if rivers and canals can provide us from energy, what is the next natural step in this equation? I see a future city before me where the industrial metabolism connects to that of the natural world. And in order to realize this vision, I contacted the scientists behind Plant E, a spin-off company from Wageningen University. And what they can do is amazing. They made it possible to harvest energy from the photosynthetic process of plants. I was fascinated. It almost was like being back in the treehouse again. I've started to collaborate with them to use their technology in our day-to-day lives. We are on a joint mission to fuse nature, science, and design. And we believe that plants can become part of our energy system. Imagine that this light bulb is not connected to a coal power station anymore, but to an actual living plant. We developed a lamp that can harvest its energy from this plant, the living light. So, how does it work? Going through the photosynthesis process, plants produce nutrition for themselves to grow. However, a large part of this nutrition is not needed by the plant and is passively released through the roots into the soil. Naturally occurring bacteria break down these organic compounds and release electrons and protons. Electrons, that's energy. Energy that we can harvest without damaging the natural processes. Imagine how well you would care of your lamps if they were actually alive. This living light will light up by a touch. When it receives your love, it will give you its energy back. Of course, this living light will dramatically change our relationship with nature. Rather than exploiting nature, we form a partnership with it. Nature will become more valuable to us again. Light then changes from something artificial into something personal. Our energy becomes natural again. The use of sustainable natural resources is not a new idea. We are investing heavily in solar and wind power. But solar and wind power are only reliable energy resources as long as the sun shines and the wind blows. And if this ceases to happen, we still need dependable energy resources. And we believe that microbial energy can become one part of these resources. Nature will get a higher economical value. This living light provides now just a little bit of electricity, but the potential of this technology is huge. What if we scale it up? What if street lights could be connected to trees? Or what if forests maybe could become power plants? And the rice fields in Indonesia can produce food and electricity for the local population. When nature gets a higher economical value, we will start making more place for green. So biodiversity can flourish while lowering greenhouse gas emissions. This living light is a message of a bigger dream. I think we are on the verge of something great. It won't be one step beyond, It will be a giant leap. New connections between nature, science, and design could emerge by literally going back to our roots. So, my message to you is simple. Open your eyes. See the world in a different light and embrace living energy. Thank you.